Welcome, ladies and gents. This is the final series for these two in Titans League Gold this season. This is kind of rare. If you've been following the conclusion of Gold, every other group, there was still a chance for many people at the bottom. In this case, Wide and Miguel are up against each other, and they are both actually confirmed to be relegated, regardless of the results here. They both have 3 wins. They could still fight for the $20. Sheesh. Don't want to misspeak. I'm going to have a lot of angry gold players. $20 per win. And I think there may be a slight difference in the placement prizes if you're relegated in 5th or 6th. I can't really remember. But Wide, it was a big accomplishment for him to make it. A player that he beat in the silver bracket in the final was Sorakuma 3-2. And when people are talking about players who didn't make it to gold, Sorakuma is one of the bigger names there. I'm really happy that Wyatt has put some respect on his name. And guys, I've watched his games. He's so close to so many wins. So close. He just needs that experience. He's like 20, 21, 22. I don't know. It's all the same to me, right? Super young compared to a lot of our pro scene, certainly compared to Miguel. And he's active and he's motivated. So I don't think this is the last we're going to see of Wide. For Miguel, he has been increasingly spending less time on the game over the past couple years. And I had heard rumors that he was basically done many times over the last couple years. So I think, honestly, I don't think that's going to change for Miguel. He's a player who's been playing professionally for 10 plus years, more like 15 years. He's never been a player to really adapt hugely with the times and change his builds all that much. He's just really, really good, you know? But he isn't what he used to be, and everyone else isn't what they used to be, and they've just massively improved. And so Miguel's going to be going down, finally. Hung around Titans League a couple seasons. But I was saying, people don't realize how crazy the silver bracket is and how many players are training and grinding for it. So I really don't think a player like Miguel can just show up to Silver League next time and try and play without any prep and get through. Do I think there's chances? Of course, but it might be tough to get back. Remember, Silver is like a single elim bracket. That's a knockout. The lowest ranked player we had and the 88 people in the bracket was 2,100. The highest ranked was 2,700. So you've got usually most of the people who came through are 25, 2,600. And all those players were doing tons of training. T90, I dreamt I was winning in a 1v1 against Nikov, but it got too unrealistic once he researched Heavy Plow, so I realized it was a dream and woke up. Oh my god, Frederick. Where's Nikov? I should give him a mod sword to ban you for that. How dare you? Listen, that joke, in Nikov's defense, that joke is 2 years too late, all right? All I'm trying to do is compensate for the fact that I pretty much started that. I think the Nikov, I think I'm a big reason why a lot of people are making those jokes. So I'm trying to make up for it right now by defending him. Again, for those that missed it, sorry for the big trees. I will say that the big acacia trees look very nice. It looks like a completely different map once you've got the real trees on. We'll fix that for the future games, though. So Wide goes for Chinese, which is a really good civilization here. And should have a pretty smooth uptime here, using the mill on the shorefish. And also pushing in all the deer. Miguel's gone for Vietnamese. Miguel loves his scout opening and adapt. Vietnamese love that as well. Nice little corner for both of them. So slightly easier to wall up if you wish to wall. I would say the gold is definitely more of an issue, though, for Wide. This gold... Well, this gold's fine. But, this gold is kind of problematic. I guess this gold for Miguel, he might actually never see. Scratch that. He sees it. This gold on the back is pretty good as well, so... Did you play your tournament with big trees on? No. I have a different tree mod. The regular small tree mod I don't like because you can't click certain types of trees. And a lot of high-level players will use a small pine tree mod, but all trees looking like pine trees I don't know. I don't like it. And I actually don't think it's as easy to click because the trees are still too tall. So I go for a bush trees mod. So all my trees are little shrubs, which Capture Age doesn't work with. So, not to mention, I think if Kilimanjaro was just covered in tiny bushes, that would be kind of weird. So barracks is there for wide. We'll drop a stable. And there's the stable as well for Miguel. And there's a little bit of pressure for Miguel to get some damage done here. Knows exactly where his opponent is because of the Vietnamese bonus. Wide just found out where Miguel is. But usually the goal is to flood army, but also you got to keep yourself protected here if you're Chinese. And you can see, like, the food is starting to run out underneath the TC. He's just now coming to berries. This won't exactly be easy. 1890, when will you cast Platinum? Platinum is essentially on a week and a half break. Platinum begins next Friday, again. So we have this break to conclude Gold. So Gold gets the attention it deserves. And then Plat begins Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday again. Or wait, no, is it Thursday? I think it's... Sorry, it's Friday. But yeah, this will be... We have Group C in Gold now. We'll finish that today. Or, no, this is B, rather. Man, I'm doing great. Group A, then, is the group tomorrow, which is, like, the craziest group remaining. It's absolutely unreal. You can't miss that. And then on the weekend, we have 2 sets each day of playoffs to determine who else goes from the Gold playoffs up to Platinum. They shop here from wide to defend. And still has some walling to do. Still has some work to do. But, I mean, was able to squeeze in Horse Collar. Still keeping the additional vills alive. Miguel opting for lots of walls as well. I'm sure he'll eventually get those walls down. But this does kind of benefit the Chinese. And part of the other reason Chinese are so good on this particular map is also the distance between the two. It's much further than other maps. So it takes a longer time for someone to get there to damage them. I appreciate the effort to show more gold. It's been fun. Thank you. Thank you. I was unsure on if we could do it. I'm also not certain on if schedules will allow us to do it for future seasons. We'll see on all that. But it feels really important to do. So even forgetting, like, trying to give these players more exposure, which is obviously a big part of it. The other thing that is really fun about just the format as a whole is the end of the group. Like, the last week's absolutely ridiculous, man. The amount of swings that can happen. So I'm really happy. I don't think it was planned this way, but I'm really pumped that we have essentially the craziest group for last. Should be really good. Yo, Frederick, thanks for the 5 months. I'm going to tell Nikab about that joke, though, so you better watch out. Okay. I'm going to try and read this name to thank them for subscribing. Don't laugh at me. You ready? It's EUSTREPTOSPONDYLUS. Okay. I need to stare at it first. Guys, don't pre-laugh. What type of losers pre-laugh? That's so weak. Come on. That's so weak. I didn't even say it yet. Yustra Patad Padondalis. Okay, you can laugh now. That was even worse than I thought it would be. What is that? It sounds like a dinosaur mixed with a, I don't know, some weird organ I've never heard of before. Vardis, thank you for the bits. Thank you. We just got scouts knocking on walls here. Just scouts knocking on walls. That's a ton of freaking bits, man. His efforts appreciated. Been a great TTL so far. Yo, thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Also, thank you, Azure, for the gifted subs as well. I seemingly missed that. I didn't finish my coffee yet this morning, folks, so just bear with me. We're reading weird names. It's a Kilimanjaro game with a bunch of walls. But that's kind of been the norm. We haven't seen a Kilimanjaro game where anyone's just super exposed. I can think of one, but we're not going to name names. Everyone seems to wall up a little bit. And then it gets crazy in Castle Age. So it's kind of funny. In maps where you have crazy feudal age, usually it doesn't get to Castle Age. Or maybe Castle Age, one person so far ahead, it's lame. But on maps like this, where you have a lot of critical map to lock down, and a lot of hills and elevation, which make it difficult to do that, things tend to be pretty ridiculous. So Kilimanjaro has been that. And Wide takes a really nice fight there, I'd say, even though he lost to scouts. Maybe I'm just wrong. But still seems like a pretty decent engagement. Miguel sees the archers, though. Miguel made one archer. and stopped. So I think his ultimate plan is probably cav archers, but now he's producing more archers, so what do I know? Wide still producing archers. Did start to produce them a little bit faster here. Again, the big thing for Wide is he's got this 3 tiles of gold he needs. Miguel actually has these 3 tiles in his base, so he could, in theory, stay here a little bit longer. But it's easier said than done, of course. You still need to have additional wood lines and just control over the map in general. Scouts and archers attacking the palisade. This is kind of an awkward area for Miguel to lock down, but he'll have his own archers. I think if he repositions the palisade, it's easier for him. And Wide just spotted that his own archers were there. Don't you want a couple of skirms then, not 2 more archers? No, not really. I like the additional archers were a little off, but it doesn't really make that big of a difference. You're gonna have fletching anyways. 3 skirms have a little bit more utility on the map than just 2 extra skirms. And people are going to be really stingy with their food and wood here. So Miguel drops the gate to go CA. It's going to be 3 ranges for him to fight back. I love how active he's been with his scouts. He has his scouts attacking the walls. But right before that, he did have his scouts active in the middle of the map. It was also really smart from Wide, though. Wide didn't move out with his archers because he didn't know where those scouts were. So now that he knows where these are, he's going to move to attack them, of course, but he can move to the middle of the map. Bloodlines is in for Miguel, so oof, that's a poor engagement there for Wide. That's a really poor engagement for Wide. But Wide should be able to know it's cav archers just by seeing bloodlines. If you click that scout and see the extra HP. Bloodlines applies to both. The extra archers actually pay off very nicely, and the archers can be pretty annoying. Now that these scouts are here, Miguel can attack walls and the archers can sit behind. And this gives you a little bit more time for the CA massing. But ballistics already on the way for Wide. It's a pretty low crossbow count, but to get ballistics at this time could still be really, really solid. He'll need defense here. Much faster than he would have wanted. I think the upcoming crossbowman can probably do it. And Miguel's CA are headed to the left side. Not a lot of damage to be found there. And the crossbowmen for Wide are coming back. That palisade is still weak, by the way. Like, this could just end the game, honestly. Also, well played here from Wide. He ended up placing a bunch of houses, and he is working on defense. He did lose those spears, so he knows the cav archers are there. Man, like, my friend, attack the weak palisade, and you're through. He's still so busy at home. He's been off of gold. He's hoping he figures these crossbows were probably going to kill the archers. They will. Miguel has to place some stone walls. Miguel loses 2 villagers placing the stone wall, but now the palisade is weak from before, and it's just all this panic when we had time to wall up and play defensive, right? Just simply the theme, these tiny little details that we're so used to the top players getting right, Miguel has just not had right in this season, and now crossbows are through with ballistics, and if Miguel, he can defend from this with good micro, but he could so easily also lose the game right here. It takes time to mass those cav archers, and Wide has simply found the timing with the crossbows. Now, I like it from Miguel that he just runs in, because if he noticed his opponent had ballistics, then that would essentially make that ineffective. And that was actually really well played. A slight misclick there, maybe, but these cav archers also found a couple kills. So he found 3 villager kills. And we have ourselves a close game. So, was it something that Miguel would want to avoid? Absolutely. But Wide would have wanted to avoid this as well. And now Miguel also has ballistics. And now Miguel has 11 cav archers. On a mobile map. With Vietnamese. So has crazy HP. Dives with the cav archers. He will kill those 2 crossbowmen. There needs to be more army here from Wide. And man, what a frustrating position for Wide to be in now. Shout out to this archer, still here, still harassing. Miguel is only on 1 TC. It is against 2 TCs and against the Chinese, so Wide should have the eco lead. But Wide needs to catch up with military, and I like the decision to go elite skirm now. If you still had your crossbow mass at a higher number, then going into more crossbowmen is still probably fine. Even going for your own cav archers could be an option. But when you're clearly going to be this outmassed, you need the counter unit. And so he will have enough armor once he gets 10 to 12 skirms where Miguel will have some problems. The eco is obviously pretty messy, but Miguel is still just on 1 TC. This should be TC number 2 for Miguel, though. And I love the TC spot. Now, some people are going to make an argument for the stone and the gold. I like that argument, but wood is also hugely important on this map. And so maybe you could do both. TC here, and then the next T maybe goes over here. The next natural thing for Miguel here would probably be a siege workshop. If you see elite skirms, that would make sense. So we might see that on the hill. Miguel sniped another Vil on the wood line. I like the amount of reactions he's forcing from wide. And there's the siege workshop. This is walled. I mean, there's still palisades that are vulnerable. It feels like you just should not have those situations at this point, but a lot going on right now. But yeah, that TC is really nice. So 10 Vils behind, but with Mangonel CA, this could be a much stronger army for Miguel. Just wonder if he'll spot this army here. Yeah, someone asking about the situation for people who just got here. Miguel and Wide are both relegated regardless. So they're out. Even if they sweep here, they have no chance of survival. So it's just a little bit of an extra showing of what they're capable of here. And $20 per win. So, wow. I mean, this is, I gotta say, like, Wide has really picked the right angle to attack. When your opponent's fully walled, to find the correct area to find villager kills every time is pretty crazy. Miguel gets on the hill, though. And even though there are skirmishers, there's just so many cav archers, and those skirms are going to die. And this is the problem. This is what Wide's going to have an issue with. And Miguel now drops his TC here. This is going to be really tough for Wide. It's also a very interesting game because Wide is up like 18 villagers. 18 villagers, but his map position and his army composition is not as good as it needs to be. Miguel's an older pro, so he's definitely going to be outposting around the map. And probably prioritizing Town Watch if he hasn't already. He's on stone as well. Morville's leaving to come to the hill. And here comes Wide. Oh, this could be horrible for Wide if Miguel notices this. Yikes! I mean, could have been worse. It's high confidence with the micro, but you've got a TC and you've got 2 Mangonels. And I get he's trying to get some value as he backs away there, but he needs an answer. And I think it's going to be hard to find. It would almost like... It feels like he needs to build here on the right side. But how do you do that now that Miguel knows about that area? The other thing you could maybe do is a weird side attack again with your Mangonels and your crossbows to take Miguel's focus out of the middle. Or you could just grind down the siege workshop with really good micro. Wide is... I don't actually know the APM stats. I'd be curious to see it. First time I've ever covered these two playing against each other. But Wide is probably significantly faster than Miguel if you look at the APM. He's super fast. Again, he's young. He's active in the game right now. He's like Winchester Light almost. And Miguel is in. Oh my god, Miguel is in. And oh, this is horrible for Wide. Now, what's wild is this is still giving him his best chance to come back in the game. But Miguel just shows, I'm not going to fight that. I'm going to get into your eco. He's killed 18 Vils. The Vil count's now even. Miguel also was able to produce 1 Mangonel at least. So he's got another Siege Workshop coming up. Yeah, man, this is so good for Miguel. Utilizing the mobility of the Cav Archers. And now in these moments, he could maybe find the defensive shots he needs. This Mangonel will go down, but that's still crazy value. Miguel's killed 30 Vils now. And well, at least Wide recognizes he can't lose this army. Like, he's still trying to do what he can. Because he knows, like, if this army dies as well, I'm definitely super dead now. They split micro there, but he did lose his Mangonel, and it feels like Miguel just needs a couple more moments. And then he's dropping a castle. And yeah, you can only micro against that for so long with everything else happening. before the siege actually is a solid counter. And Miguel reminding everybody what he's capable of here. It is super shaky right now. Like, there is a family gathering around the tree. This is super shaky economically, but he's killed 41 vills. So, it's because his focus is elsewhere. He'll even snipe the mango there, and then lands a pretty solid shot. Once this is a full clear, he drops a castle here, and it's GG. But if he doesn't full clear it, there's still pretty crazy army numbers for wide. He will clear up all the CA. He will be fine there. Okay. Like, Miguel's thinking, there's no way. I just killed 40 vills. There's no way I lose this game. But there's more siege coming from wide. Miguel split microing. Miguel getting in close. Miguel could take the weak one. There's probably more army on the way. If he gets both, that's obviously amazing. Even just forcing this back is amazing. I feel like Miguel needs a market right now. He must not have one. But if he kills that, even without the market, could probably get the stone eventually. Oh my goodness. Again, oh my goodness! This is my chat right now. You guys are at work. You guys are getting paid a salary to watch Titans League. And then, eventually, when your boss pays attention, he's going to be like, hello, what are we doing, people? What are we doing? The lumber camp's over there. Miguel could throw this. Miguel could throw this. By the way, I'm not encouraging you to get back to work. Stop doing that. Keep watching. But Miguel could absolutely throw this. Oh my god. Okay, I mean, he does have another mangonel on the way, but wide will have his first. This is... Ay, Miguel! What's happening? Honestly, that whole time he had, when the mangonels were getting pushed down the hill, it was just buy the stone, drop a castle. But he didn't have a market, so he had to wait a little bit longer. Oh my god, the skirms also find the no way Miguel's throwing this. It's like, he still has a 20 villager lead. Again, wide's a crazy micro nerd as well. Oh man, the skirms found 17 vills. But Miguel gets the hit there. Okay. What a crazy game. Villagers still being chased down. There's no army to defend them. Thankfully, it's skirms and not crossbows, but still. Wide's still microing like a beast. Doing his best to deny this castle. This is the type of player he is. He's bringing his own siege in here, too. Miguel micros. He misses the attack round. Wide misses the attack round, but nice micro from both there, and Miguel should get the castle up. And now the villagers are like, yo, where is the support? So, I mean, at the end of the day, if we just forget how good the position was and how awkward it got for Miguel, he's still in an amazing spot. 2 TCs in the top of the hill. Is going to drop another TC down here. He will get access to wood. Wide is coming to the hill. Wide wants to drop his own castle here. This feels ambitious. And not like ambitious in a good way. Like, man, is that kid ambitious. He really wants to reach some goals in his life. I don't think it's ambitious in that way. I think it's ambitious in the settle down and be realistic way. This is... Yeah, that castle... I mean, if it goes up... If it somehow goes up, it is incredible. Miguel has 3 mangonels, though. Wide only brought 7 villagers. And that castle will not go up. And it feels like... And it's been scrappy, but it feels like... With this fight, Miguel should probably win the game. The skirms will disappear. The siege and the vills will disappear. And Miguel has done it. Finally. He's secured the hill. Well, I mean... It's not pretty, but he secured the hill by defending his castle. And 2-1 KD for him and Wide. Wide actually only behind by 7 vills. But Wide won't have access to gold now. He's running out of gold. He has only 150 gold left in his map. And he would need to go all the way over here. I don't think he has this scouted. He would need to go all the way over here. And obviously, like, Miguel can pressure him nonstop from the hill. Miguel's going to have a second castle and GG. So, it was a very interesting game, actually. It was very messy. Having watched some of the people who are winning their groups in gold, maybe slightly evident why these guys are at just the bottom of their group. Not to be, disrespectful, but it was maybe a little too scrappy. Maybe the nerves were a little too clear. The best players are able to make us forget the nerves in the moment. But at the end of the day, I felt like Miguel's adaptations were very strong, and he kept harassing wide. He wasn't able to do damage in feudal, but the damage he did in castle was fantastic. And then getting to the hill, getting the TCs up, getting the castles was just sick. So Miguel relegated anyways, just like wide, but he gets $20 to start it off. And we'll move into game number 2. But yeah, it's rare that you see the eco and the map control be so different. It's actually what's so fun about that map. It's a shame that people don't seem to realize it. Like, the person who gets the Vil lead is almost always the person who doesn't take the middle. Because to drop the safe TCs to get the Vil lead, you have to drop them outside of the middle. It was a very fun game. So, GG. We'll move on to Wide's home map next. But game number 2, we've got Burgundians and we've got Malay. So, these civs are all absolutely ridiculous. I think how you utilize the Malay is a little bit less certain, because you can go super fast feudal and eco upgrades. You can also go for the standard fast castle and just be faster than your opponent. I personally really like the fast feudal eco upgrades. Boom. Gives you a lot more potential to fight with scouts and whatnot. But I think against the Burgundians, you might actually just want to get the TCs down faster, honestly. You might want to go for the straight fast castle, because Burgundians are going to have eco upgrades well ahead of you anyways. So the fast feudal eco upgrade boom doesn't feel... That feels strong when other civs can't do that. But when you can just stay in Dark Age and get feudal age eco upgrades, it would just feel better. Yeah, there's lots of snow, there's lots of stone, so it's very, very tough for the eyes, I guess, for some of you guys. But it's part of the map. It's been a fun map so far. I think the best Dong is ahead of us. I think we'll have some great Zong maps, or Zong games coming up. But players are still figuring out tiny little details of the meta. We've seen some tweaks to strategies here or there. But these civs, they don't expect anything too crazy, just because their civilizations are so good at what they do. Now, there's 2 layers of trees. It's hard to tell when they're this big. And so Wide got double bit, and he will chop through the tree, and then you can only fit 2 villagers on the next tree. Now, I did a little bit of preparing, that's right, chat, for this Valhalla tournament I played earlier this morning, because there's a map similar to this with 2 layers of trees, and I was testing it, and I was trying to see, like, how easily can you get through. And so you can always use 3 for the first tree. You can only use 2 for the next. But I got to tell you, on any map like that, your Vils, there's always one of the Vils that doesn't want to chop the second tree. I think they bump into each other. And then they say, oh, can't get to that tree. And they go to another. So you really have to, you really, really, really have to keep an eye on that next Vil. Now, knowing Miguel, he should be aware of this. And I can't quite tell. It looks like 2 villagers on one tree, 1 villager on another, because of the angles here. So... Frederick says, T90, I dreamt I was winning a 1v1 against Doubt, but then it got too unrealistic once he microed his crossbows, so I realized it was a dream and woke up. What you should have said, Frederick, was he finished a castle on the front of my base, and I realized this can't be real. How dare you? You are slandering all the players here today. But it is Gold League, and you're not expecting the Platinum League players to be here, so that's pretty smart. Though, honestly... Doubt might be a Gold League player before you know it. Okay, do you see the villagers bump? I don't know if you were looking at the trees. The villagers bumped. The one villager went to another tree, and then Wide fixed it. So Wide is definitely paying really close attention to that. And he actually has already produced a priest. The priest is blending in with all the snow on the trees. But he's in there. And that priest can actually heal up the scout. This is smart. I think this is actually... The first player that did this, I think, was Winchester. And so you can now bring your scout over... The priest can heal it up. So you can produce priests from the shrine. You can't put relics inside of it. And the priest is... it's a monk unit with only 5 range in conversions. So The goal may be to bring the relics in to the base, drop them off, and then you can get them later on, you know? Scout from Miguel's over here. Miguel is going fast feudal. So if he's able to catch out this scout, that's absolutely massive. Wow, Wide is going fast feudal as well. At least by Burgundian standards. This is not a fast castle. I think Wide is panicking right now. I think he's like, I don't want to be out here if the Malay is fast feudal. And that's really good game sense to go back inside and just don't take the risk. Miguel's also gone to gold. And he's also chopping through this tree. So well played to Miguel. I didn't actually watch a lot of his games, in all honesty. I think I watched 2 of his sets. So like half of his games. I never saw him play the map. I was not expecting him being relegated anyways to really have like a good strat prepped here. I thought maybe a prep wouldn't be there, but it's looking good. So essentially what you can do here if you're Wide, you can just rush Bowsaw and Heavy Plow. I don't think his eco's really there for it, though. He's going to go for a barracks. Why does this feel like archers to me? He's making a second priest. Miguel is just hoping this initial scout gets crazy value because he's in feudal age faster. He's not expecting his opponent to be feudal. Vignesh says, how much a person gets for a win? Is it like 40 in platinum? It's 40 in platinum, 20 in gold, and then there's placement prizes as well. So where you end up also gives you prize pool. So Scout's actually a bit stronger here for Wide. I think Miguel may have just noticed that because they fought before. So Miguel might heal up his Scout real quick with his Monk or Priest. Capture Age doesn't call it a Priest, but... Pete Nasty says T90 first time viewing the map. What to do with the Priest? Yeah, I could say it again. So the Shrine can only produce Priests. Priest is a Monk that has 5 range. And you cannot put the relics inside the Shrine, so you have to make your own monastery. That's essentially it. This is a 50-50, but a little bit of healing means that one of them wins. There was an extra hit there from Miguel, but there's the healing now from Wide, and there's going to be the healing. Now, when do you heal and when do you convert? Now do you convert? I can't tell if it's converting or healing. I think it's still healing. Okay. I really thought that maybe it had been switched to a conversion, so... So they both lose their first priest. It's hard to convert with these things, though, because they only have 5 range. And they heal up pretty fast, so that was probably the smarter play from both. But yeah, they're fighting over relic control when they can't take the relics until Castle Age. They'd have to build a monastery. Are the priests impacted by monastery tax? Yes, I believe they are. I can tell you that Bengalis who get monk armor also have priest armor. So I wasn't certain when I first saw them, honestly, if that was going to be the case. This map always looks like 2 different faces just looking at each other, you know? Like conjoined twins or something. If we could extend a wall from from each base. Scout's still super active. Uh-oh, it's a priest race. Oh, man, you should have ate more veggies in your younger years there, Red Priest. You're too slow, bro. And now Miguel comes over, and Miguel gets the snipe. That's really well played from Miguel. Again, very impressed. I mean, he's got 4 wins now, which is pretty low. I was not expecting him to come in here. Like, knowing he was going to be relegated, I just kind of thought this would be a bit of a wash. Very happy to see that that's not the case here. He's playing very solid. He's like, hey, I got to make my money where I can. Wide's playing very good as well, by the way. But Miguel showing us why he was in platinum and why he was in golds for previous seasons. And Wide snipes another priest. Miguel's now dropping a stable. So I think his plan is to go light cav. His resources... Man, it's balanced perfectly to click up, isn't it? Maybe a little bit too much on gold. I don't think he needs this much on gold, but he will be producing more priests. Priests only cost 75 gold. Would Slavs be good on this map? I think Slavs would struggle on the map because of lack of bombard cannon. You pretty much can't play a civ that doesn't get bombard cannon on this map, in my opinion. It's so important in early imp, but the faster priests would be kind of nice. We've seen games where someone gets 5 relics and still loses, though, so... Go! Oh, he left it at the doorstep, though. What a bro. That's nice. He could have just given up on life much earlier, but he drops the relic off to his friends. Wide will have 3 relics, at least. And Miguel, I'm only seeing this one. Am I missing? Oh, wait, Wide will have 4. Oh, wow. That's pretty significant. So Wide will have 4. He's starting to move them into the back of his base, I think. It's kind of funny how in an arena game, the relics are always collected on the front because they need the monks to be produced as fast as possible. But here, the relics are going to be placed in the back because they can't put it in the shrine. So they at least think about it here. A lot of people are always asking, like, why don't players put the relics in the back of their base? It's because they need the monks to be produced from the front. And Wide lets the scout in from Miguel. I don't think Miguel actually wanted to follow, but things got a little too crazy. There's no loom. That could easily be a Vil kill. And they both die simultaneous deaths. Dramatically. On the cobblestone and the dirt. So, Castle Age is way faster for Miguel, but he's got some catching up to do. Because he won't have those relics. Resources collected's even. 2 TCs for Miguel. This should be followed by a 3rd TC as well. I mean, this is super smooth boom. And Wide still 70 seconds away from Castle Age. But when Wide gets to Castle Age, he can get every upgrade. If Wide had a market, I think maybe he would even buy some stone and go for 4 TCs right away. I don't think that's necessarily great, though. I don't necessarily hate it. I don't know. Miguel wanted a better wood line, which is why he opened his walls. Which feels like a mistake if your opponent has scouts. Right? Like, if Wide ever notices this, these light cav are coming in. And that's going to be annoying. So if the roles were reversed, I think I'd get it a little bit more. Because the Malay usually aren't going to have as much cav on the field. 3 TCs. TC on the outside from Wide. So you could argue this is also exposed. But that's also a much bigger wood line. So, and then the rest of your base is still walled. Monastery goes up. Handcart right away. Don't mind that. And the 3 atheists refuse to change sides. Miguel just insta-deletes all of his spears after seeing the priest there. Well, so it's another interesting one, right? Like, in the previous game, the player who had the map control was down in Vils. Now you have the player who is map control down in Vils, but they also have the relics. So, like, if Miguel... this game all comes down to how much damage Miguel is able to do early. Now, I like this from Miguel. If you do expose your eco like this, I like the house walling on the sides. That makes me feel much more comfortable with that. Also love the fact he's on stone. He might be thinking about a castle timing. But you can't exactly just move out with spears and drop a castle, can you? If there's priests out there to convert your spears, if there's light cav, it's not going to be easy. So I think Wide's going to have some time. Does controlling the shrine give anything like resources? No. It doesn't give you any resources. It just allows you to produce the priest from there, and that's it. Miguel is healing. And Wide, at some point you have to realize... Oh, wow, that was super well played. That was really well played. It was cheeky from both of them, but Wide said, yeah, you're not exactly healing fast enough there. And now he falls back and heals up. I feel like the Wololo for the conversion and the Ololo for the healing is very similar. It's kind of hard for me. I mean, I'm not used to this unit in AoE 2. I don't have near as much experience with it, so... All right, here we go. Get ready for people to get mad, chat. You're on a map with walls, and you've opened up your walls, and surprise, surprise, the opponent's gonna run right in. Now he does have loom, but this is just annoying, dude. This is just so annoying. Also, wide defending his priest in the middle, and we'll see our first villager kill in the game. This has got to be lovely for wide. He's down in vills. And now he just gets some free vills for the taking. And it just seems like Wide's going to go for a bit of a push as well. Tries to get the scout kill. Somehow doesn't. Goes back for it, though. That was crazy. And now he would just leave. Loses a light cav. Loses another light cav. But hey, you killed 2 vills. Your opponent's worried about their own base. I'd say that that's a positive. 1,200 resources behind, but 4 TCs from Wide. Very easy to start to fall into the thinking that Wide's position is better. But you need to be reminded, if you're thinking about that Miguel is the freaking melee. And the melee don't mess around with timings. I think this feels like a situation where Miguel needs his first castle to actually be at home or in the middle, instead of YOLOing it forward. There's too many things that can go wrong. Like, he's trying to add spears to defend from light cap, but if there's monks that match the spearman count, the spearman won't work. I see vills here from wide. That feels like for a siege workshop or a castle. I can't tell which. He had a vill here before that died, but now he's brought 4. Feels like he's waiting for the stone. Miguel is up. Miguel's dropping ranges now. Miguel will go for arbs and pikes, which is a great comp, and there's the castle for wide. So I've been thinking a lot about this, because I see a lot of players do this type of castle when they have the relic advantage and when they're up against the faster imps. And instinctively, I'm always like, I don't like this. You have the relics. I think it's a bad move to place this castle, because it's just a target now. But there's really not a lot of gold. Like, okay, that's 3.5k gold. I guess you do have this gold available too. But that's not really that much compared to the gold in the middle. So I think that's the logic here. Is they can still try and defend, but at least they'll have control over that gold. And here comes Miguel. Like we said, guys, like going pikes when there's monks out on the map doesn't actually accomplish much. And Miguel won't be able to get this castle down safely unless he backs away with it. But this is spotted, and Wide is all over this, man. Wide is all over this. Pikes do so little damage to monks. The conversions came in. And Miguel will probably complete this castle eventually. I mean, no, will he? Will he actually complete this castle? There's light cav on the way. There's unique units on the way. There's pikes on the way. The longer this castle is delayed, the longer the treb is delayed, which is the main thing that Wide is going to be concerned about. The castle's at 60%. Some vills are being attacked. There's a lot going on here. I'm sure the castle will go up, and that's what Miguel's thinking. He's like, my castle will go up. He's brought more vills just in case. But lost... I mean, there's been a lot of idle time. There's been a lot of inefficiency, and he's lost some time here. This now gives time to Wide to kind of prep for that trebuchet. Very messy stuff for Miguel. And it's just... As a player who could very frequently fall into the blah mentality and who just isn't sharp, for me, it's if I'm spending too much time casting, I just don't play well because I just am not playing sharp. The brain is there, but the body's weak. I just feel like Miguel just seems like he's kind of in this blah phase. Like he going out here seems so risky. Maybe it's rude of me to say all that. But there's an outpost there. Feels like that's going to be a problem. Then again, he does have... I need to shut up because he actually has good army control. I know he only has archers right now, which is kind of funny looking. But he does have the first treb out. He did find some extra stone. He really needs to get crossbowmen at least. And there's double siege workshop bomber cannon for Miguel. It's funny to me that he's taking all this gold. I kind of assumed there'd be units over there immediately from Wide. But Wide's got some bigger things to worry about. I think that unit's headed over there, but will path into the castle. Oh, no, it's going there, actually. Okay. And get ready to see villagers repair trebs. I don't know if Wide can hold this on the hill. Feels like with the bomber cannons for Miguel... Where are the bomber cannons for Miguel? He didn't lose one. It's just back here. There's another one there now as well. Very little on gold for Wide, I'm noticing. Lots of that gold didn't come from Miguel. Miguel's still on archers. But who cares when you have bombard cannons? This is why I said as if like Slavs would struggle. You really need bombard cannon. And Miguel's castle stays up. Miguel takes down a castle and takes down the trebs. And all these skirms for Wide haven't done enough yet. But they are getting stronger. Andy will have his own bombard cannons. He also has the hill. He snipes one of the trebs. Miguel's clicked the bombard cannon with his trebs. Wide attack rounds between the trebs. It took 2 shots to kill 2 trebuchets. That was sick. That was so sick. Now also some sick shots here from Miguel. But Miguel has the gold to fund the bombard cannons. Wide does not. Wide could maybe do a similar thing and run out over here. Or, like, if he's able to think about this, 2 units here and Miguel's off of all that gold.
Yes.
So, 155 population for Wide. That is including a 20 villager lead. Military count's about even. Food eco similar. We have Cavalier now being clicked by Wide, which is a good move if your opponent's going primarily skirms. Miguel needs to push. His opponent has relics. His opponent has a wider tech tree to switch into. But Miguel is clearly going with the more is better approach with the bombard cannons. When you're up against the Burgundians, that makes sense. And Wide, dropping stable after stable. He's got a little bit more time. And 4 relics. Didn't snag Burgundian vineyards yet, but that's kind of tough to justify in these moments. Man, the bombard cannons are insane. I'm just going to select the bombard cannons to show you the kills on both sides. And where they are. Burgundians could tech Paladin in this moment, but I think Miguel seems to realize right now that there could be a stable switch coming in because he's going for help. Both players just popping up. Both players just, yeah, popping up. It's kind of funny how they're all dancing around this sacred monument. So typical. In war, those things aren't respected. This should be an off-limits battle area, folks. This is for peace only. Wow, great fights for Miguel. Still wild, he doesn't have crossbow. How helpful is that? I guess we'll see. But he's still queuing up archers. So the fact he's still queuing up archers makes me think maybe he's got the upgrade in the ranges somewhere. I think he just canceled one of the production so he could get the upgrade. He probably clicked it a bunch of times and just was waiting for it. But the castle's going to fall for Wide. That is a lot of bombard cannons and trebs for Miguel. And Miguel really building up to something. Wide still limited golds. Oof, big shots though, big shots there right before the units became crossbows. Or right as they became crossbows. Only 1 bombard cannon for Wide, so he's going to need Paladin to change things. Is Paladin going to be enough? He's trying to hide this move. Miguel will see the stables now. He should have an idea it's coming. He will drop a castle here. Again, how important was this gold for Miguel? How important was it that Wide didn't get to this gold? Wide can produce skirms all he wants, but cannons and paladins are expensive. Here we go. We'll see if there's enough halbs out there for Miguel to stop this. Wide clearly about to pounce. Wide will get to the golden stone. Miguel's bombard cannons, 39 kills. And then also credited for taking out trebs and castles too. Oh my god. Oh my god. Dude, this paladin raid's about to go so hard. This is actually so good from Wide. Because there's halbs in the main fight. Now he needs to keep his skirms alive. That'll be tough. But Miguel's going to have some big problems in his eco over the next few moments if those paladins can spread out. But I love it from Miguel. He's like, I don't care. Kill my vills. I'll kill your whole base. And he just keeps pushing. Full focus on the front. Dropping another castle now. I'm sure he'll lose vills. I'm sure he does actually care. And he'll need to bring Halbs back. But this was supposed to open up an opportunity for Wide to push the middle. And if Miguel just castles the middle like that and keeps pushing, this raid doesn't accomplish enough. Wide has not had the gold. We're checking out here to raid. There's not much there. Vills are dying like crazy. Wide does have Trebs waiting. But he cannot keep his army alive. His production buildings are all right next to this. He's losing them. Paladin raid killed, what, 40 vills? He has 50 vills up right now. So if he can hold, it's probably because of that raid. Miguel won't be able to afford as much. Miguel has no wood income. He has gold, he has food. But man, are these cannons strong. I feel like for the average player, this game is kind of eye-opening. Like, type a 1 in chat if you would never be able to use bombard cannons this effectively to change a game. You don't have to admit it if you don't want. But I just feel like when I watch mid-elo and low elo, this prioritization over bombard cannon isn't there because the unit control isn't there. Like, these bombard cannons have been everything, man. Without the cannons, Miguel's never in this position. But guys, this gold income and stone income for Wide, it's sneaky. Miguel doesn't know about it. Miguel's going to lose his Trebs. And so now Wide's kind of stabilized after killing those vills. Also, Wide raided over here to keep him off of that gold. It's crazy to me. Miguel is so focused on the middle. He does not know about the golden stone being taken. And the paladins and skirms. It's working. It's working for Wide. What a hold, man. Whoa, why did my mouse go there? I'm sorry. Trebuchets were also perfectly positioned to take out the castle as he fought. And now Miguel's gold income is all right through the middle. Skirm Paladin. The bomber cannon's the key to take out the skirms, and then the Halbs should be able to deal with the Paladin. That's kind of how you look at this. But Miguel just not sharp enough to realize, oh, the gold's here. It's crazy. We had the 10-minute span where Miguel was able to get away with the gold from when Wide could have raided. And it was the same thing as there. Like, in that moment, Wide was under pressure, so he couldn't think about it. And now Miguel's under pressure, so he's not able to think about it. That's where a couple karambits could quickly sweep that up, and then you could still be focused on the front. Well played from Wide. 200 pop, 4 relics, has Burgundian vineyards. And the bombard cannons for Miguel, they need to be protected. He does snipe one of the Trebs, but it's hard to get the Halbs in position. The Halbs are at the other side of the hill. And at the very least, even if these bomber cannons don't die, they're not in position to snipe the Trebs, and the bomber cannons will die. A lot of paladins will die in the process, but Miguel's castle also goes down. And Wide, if he can just spam another wave of paladins behind this, I think he might have the game. The skirms are doing everything they need against the Halbs. The Trebs have done everything they need here. For me, it comes back to that raid, actually. That raid from Wide was so good at setting up a situation where his economy was superior, and then he could just outspam his opponent here. And this castle from Miguel, he can't protect it. He'll lose everything. Miguel taps out, and guys, the fight to see who isn't bottom of the group goes on. Again, both players are relegated. It's guaranteed, regardless. But scores 1-1. And winner of the next game will at least get 5th place and be relegated. Well played from Wide. I thought he played that well. I think his Imperial Age was way better, and it felt like his feudal age was way better. But, you know, it's frustrating for me because it's just like, I feel like with Miguel, you're just looking at some things and you look at this and you say, why? Right? Like, the second the walls were deleted and the TC was placed, I was just thinking, if the opponent ever finds that, you will absolutely have problems because of it. And he lost some vills and some control with light cap because it was open. And then the paladins in his eco completely wrecked him. And then Wide was able to stabilize. Also, very well played from Wide. Very nice patience. He lost a lot this game. This looked very bad for him. I thought he was going to lose anyways. But from Miguel's perspective, you just got to be thinking, these are some of the small things that you can't get away with and stay alive, you know? Wide with more wood, more food, more gold, more stone. The relics obviously played a big role in that. The relics also brought in food income for the Burgundians, which is great. A great job from Wide to get 4 of those against the Malay. And we move into our final game. So, game 3. We've got Miguel and Wide, and this is essentially fighting over 5th place. 5th place is still relegated, but extra $20 in the bank as well. Could someone tell me if there's a difference in prize pool payout for gold players between 5th and 6th position? Can somebody double check that on Wikipedia? I actually don't know. Oh, there's $100 in that as well. Ah, sick. Okay. So, wow, this is a $120 game then. This is $20 for the win, and then it's also prize pool for the placement. Because I saw a couple of chatters talking about $100. I wasn't sure exactly why they were doing that. That makes sense. Rorik, thank you. Lumit, thank you. Dr. AOE, thank you, guys. Appreciate it. Welcome back. It's not my birthday, but thanks anyways. I'll take it. Bro, Frederick, you're wasting all your good messages on one stream. It says, T90, I dreamt I subscribed to you for $5 for free with Twitch Prime, but it got too unrealistic once you praised the fantastic new pathing update by the devs. So I realized it must be a dream and woke up. Okay, well. That was not as good as the first 2, Frederick, but it was still good. Thank you. All right, so Persians start with the extra wood and food, and there's a pond in the middle here. So Miguel's gone for the more hybrid approach. And then Wide is Mongols, and there's 100 deer on the map. So, I mean, as that boar moonwalks off screen, this is amazing for Mongols. And so some people will just say, I'm Mongols. I'm going to take hunt. I'm going to make scouts. I'm going to kill. And they'd be very aggressive, and that simplifies their approach. But then other people say, I need to utilize this hunt and also take the water. And it feels like Wide is going for option 1. It doesn't seem like he's going, oh, God. Ay. Lost a villager to a boar. And Xylax is now gifting 100 subs? What? Oh, my goodness. Man, I mean, you probably distracted Wide. That's what it was. We have Xylax to blame. The second the gifted subs came in, Wide lost the villager. Guess he shouldn't have had the stream up. Wow. I don't know what to say to that. That's insane. Thank you, I guess. Thank you very much. Should I do a little dance? I feel like, feel very undeserving. Thank you so much, Xylax. Not the first time as well. So, Doc is up in the middle for Miguel. And Wide's just going to skip that. So, he's down a Vil now, and he's also not going to add fish. But when you're Mongols, he's going to have crazy resources collected and crazy potential for aggression. So, this is going to be some YOLO energy if I've ever seen it. I feel like we'll see a whole bunch of scouts. Alex, thank you. Thy Eggman, thank you for the Prime. Not to be overshadowed by the casual 100 gifted subs. But yeah, thanks a lot. That's amazing. And guys, if you got the emotes, you know what to do already, all right? So there's not much you can really do if you're Miguel to keep up with the Mongols early. Your hope is that you don't take losses early and then your eco is stronger. And once the hunt is out of the picture, which is, I mean, it takes a while on this map because technically there's hunt everywhere. Persian TC's working faster is the better eco bonus. So Persians are just more consistent. The Mongol bonus is very strong early. But Wide is just going to push in every single deer he can, even taking the deer next to the mill. I wouldn't mind if he is scouting here to see more Vils come this way with mills. Vils with mills. I like that. I think that's a username of someone on Twitch, actually. But yeah, these 4, building a mill somewhere around here to take all of this hunt would be great. But when you take the hunt, your Vils are also really exposed. And that's a risk that Miguel's not going to take. And Miguel also has the fish. So Miguel will be about 50 seconds later to the feudal age here. Xylax says, 100 is max. Believe me, I tried more. Yeah, I think that's the max. Please, you don't have to give more. That's insane. It's seriously, I'll start to feel bad at a certain point. Thank you. Chad's T90. I dreamt you taught me how to play Age of Empires Mobile, but it got too unrealistic. Okay, I'm not reading the rest of that. What's up with this new thing, guys? Just because I had an Age of Empires dream, you guys are doing the same stuff now? I was actually baffled at how many people have Age of Empires dreams, though. I love that I'm not the only one. So for those that missed it, I had scheduled to play a tournament series this morning before my stream. Obviously, it's been many long, exhausting days for me. And so I slept through my alarm, but I was playing an Age of Empires 2 game in my dream. And so I was saying how usually I have an Age of Empires dream every, like, maybe 3 or 4 times a month. But the last 2 weeks, every single night has been Age of Empires. So I'm, like, casting a decider in the playoffs between this player and that player. Or I'm, like, in the middle of playing a game and we're fighting for wood control and hills and it's... There's halbs and there's rams and we're fighting down to the final tree. You know, so... I slept in because of an Age of Empires stream. Did end up getting to the... Did end up getting to the tournament series. And my opponent was really respectful. I offered to give him the win because I was 20 minutes late. And he was happy to play anyway, so... So, walls galore here for Miguel. And open map players aren't going to like this, but this is what you have to do against Mongols. Also, a demo for Miguel? Oh my goodness, imagine if he had that a little bit earlier. Guys, can we talk about how Wide hasn't found his opponent's base yet? Well, and now Miguel's going to find his base. But yeah, like, he still has no clue where his opponent is. He spent so much time making scouts, assuming this base is going to be open. And Miguel's just like, no. I'm not going to do that, actually. And he drops a blacksmith. He drops a palisade. So now you've skipped the dock. You've been late with your scouts. Your opponent is just completely walled. This is super good for Miguel. Now, what's funny is Wide's next conclusion might be to go kill the fish on water if there's fish, if he knows there's fish out there. And there's a demo waiting for him. So well played for Miguel here. Headed to gold. This could be for some archers. He also still has scouts out. And Miguel's scouts are going to pounce. And Wide thought this was an open, aggressive map where he could dominate with his scouts. And he could not have been more wrong. This is so smart for Miguel. He knew what Mongols were capable of. And he respected it. And I think Wide, had he been faster with it, had he moved forward with his second and third scout, he could have potentially delayed the walls. But he just never moved out. Miguel has enough hunt. Miguel's got the farms. This is a much easier game for Miguel to play now. Don't think the game ends here. No. I think Wide's got enough army to deal with this. He's still got hunts around the map. Wide could still, like, manage this position somewhat easily. But he loses a scout to a demo. He lost a villager to a boar. And he's gone full army when his opponent is fully walled. So things have just not panned out great here. T90, have you ever dreamt of being in an AoE game as a unit? No. Never. No first-person AoE dreams. Ooh, crazy quick walls from Wide. Well played. Miguel's having a perfect type of game so far. He hasn't lost anything yet. That villager was building the market. Wide wasn't there to defend it. Oh, man, Wide. I mean, we know he's crashing out. We know he'll have to qualify for gold again. But kind of a tough way to finish. I'm sure in his mind, he already knows he's out. It doesn't feel... It's not a good feeling as well. This is what? So he's got 4 wins out of potential 14. So I imagine on some level, the whole experience could have been a little bit defeating. But as I said, when I watched Miguel's games, he was super... Or Miguel and Wide, but mainly Wide. Wide was close to getting a lot of wins. Wide could have 3-0'd the first round. Just tiny little details he's missed this series. And this season. And Miguel will be up in 30 seconds. Miguel's, I assume, going to go camels. Or knights. This is Wide's best performance in a tournament ever to make gold. So this is, and he's super young. Miguel is also relegated, yes. So this is essentially the relegation show match, fighting for the extra money. Is there a hole there? How long has that hole been there? Was there a tree at some point? There's no way that that was there before. I'm guessing that was blocked off by something, because I think wide was right there. Wide would have gone through. How young is super young for AoE2? I would say early 20s. But that's probably... Maybe I shouldn't say super young. But it's not just age, it's also the length of your career. Right? So I think those two combined. And Wide has gotten much better every year and has been really active the last few. Whereas Miguel's kind of on the other side. Miguel's been active / inactive for like 15 plus years. So... Wide is 21 and Syscon is 21. Yeah, it's sick. That's sick. It was already a big accomplishment. Like, Wide was the big underdog in his set. A lot of people expected Sorakuma to make it through silver. He won 3-2 in the decider. So, regardless here, he'll be back. But a player like Miguel, who's mid-30s and has been less active over time, I'm not sure. Will he make it back? We'll see. There were some big names with some long careers who played in silver and didn't make it back to gold. So, and people a lot of you would recognize. Stark is a big one. Like, Stark's had a crazy career, another Brazilian. And he didn't end up making it through. 2 TCs for Miguel. Camel War now. But look at Miguel's eco, dude. Miguel has had a very smooth eco. You could make an argument, excuse me, that opening... with this many knights is probably not the play, but he's able to fight off the camels well enough. He's just booming right now. This is perfect. This is like a civ that Miguel picks in every draft, in every tournament, and has played for the last 15 years. So despite any changes, it hasn't really changed his style with it. Loves the hybrid approach, loves knights, loves to boom. 2 TCs for Wide as well, but 17 eco behind. 17. But he sees the fish traps. Is he attacking the fishing ships or the fish traps? It's probably hard to... I think they would automatically attack units, so they would automatically attack the fish, and then you go for the traps. That's annoying if you're Miguel. But, I mean, it's still eco his opponent doesn't have. He could actually still save the fishing ships and get right back on 2 of those traps. And he's peeling away the knights to go somewhere else because he knows the camels are here, which is really smart. And he seems to be going right back to the perfect spot as well. He's going to double check the wood line. And Wide is not expecting that. Miguel into the wood line. Wide still micring over here maybe. Yeah, it looks like he'll lose a couple more vills. Still has camels, still has monks. So there's no game-ending moves coming for Miguel. But he's just slowly taking better engagements and has the better eco here. Yeah, that was a veteran move for sure. To just use those knights there. That's a super veteran move, because actually what most people do these days with those knights is they actually fall back and they just heal them. And Miguel's like, let's just give it a shot. Miguel would say, yeah, that's because I'm not a coward. But I'll let people say what they want about that. Miguel dropping the 3rd TC in a really good spot. On the wood, on the gold, on the deer. And 9 camels for him. Only 4 for Wide. Miguel's also getting the relics as well. Just... Wide needs a big raid. He needs a very wide raid to accomplish a wide variety of things. Because... yeah, I just don't know what else could work here. You don't have the camel number. Like, if he had similar army number, you could maybe hope for a snowball at the fights. This whole approach from him seems like he's concerned. Like, camels, are you confident? See, they're saying no. That he hasn't been confident the whole game. He stayed in his base until he had 5 scouts. Then he went out to find his opponent. Then his opponent was walled. Raiding with Lancers, though, is pretty sick. That's good. This is where things could start to look pretty good for you. If Miguel's distracted, like Miguel hasn't had to deal with any offensive pressure all Castle Age. These Lancers could wreck the eco if Miguel's not paying attention. And Miguel is looking here. He's got a big army count underneath the TC there and on the gold. Okay, the Lancers are poking away. And just like that, 3 villagers go down, but Miguel does react. And now Miguel's also surrounding the gold. He can't immediately kill the vills, but he can deny that gold soon. But he's worried about Wide's monks. Wide could convert a couple camels there. That's an uncomfortable feeling. I think Miguel just says, who cares? I've got enough camels. Who cares? I can get a conversion back with my own monk. This is idle time for you. This is work for you. Brings camels over for the Lancers. Wide has to click away. And then he looks back at his base. And there's still this big group of camels from Miguel. And so the counterattack didn't do enough. Miguel clearly with the better eco here. And Miguel with 30 villager lead ends up winning the game. Wide taps out. And honestly, I thought Wide, game 2 was really respectable. Game 1, maybe things go slightly differently. He gets the win. And like I said, he's 21 years old. I think this is still a good season for him overall. And I've seen it before where players need that. You need to lose before you learn some of the things that can improve you as a player. So hopefully he'll make it back to gold through the silver bracket, the silver qualifier next time. With Miguel, I'm uncertain. Obviously, he beat Wide here, but going through a single elim 4-stage qualifier bracket or 3-stage qualifier bracket is really intense. And so a lot of good players went down there. So I'd be curious. I would love to see Miguel try and make it back to gold in the future. That's obviously many, many months in advance. So KD actually wasn't a very action-packed game at all, but it was just a boomy game. And yeah, Miguel, he just defended. And that's pretty much it. Defended. He just played solid, as you know him to do.